Hey, what's up everyone? In this video, we're going to go start to finish how to build and program a Django REST API and then all the way to how to host it and how to sell it. So let's get started. We're going to start obviously with Django. We're going to build out the API, and what we're going to do is we're going to build an API that will take in a WordPress URL, a WordPress website URL, and then in response, it'll return the RSS feed data for that WordPress website URL. Now, if that website is not a WordPress site, then it will return a 404 not found error, just saying that the website was not found or that the site is not WordPress. And we may include an error message in there as well. It sounds like a super simple idea, but believe it or not, things like this don't entirely exist. And then I'm going to show you how to host the Django project, the Django API, and then also how to publish it and sell it on a really cool, neat website. So to get started, we're going to want Django and Python 3 installed. Obviously, if you don't have those installed, go install those, djangoproject.com. Or if you need some help, you can check out my previous Django video. I kind of walked through a little bit more in detail on how to follow the website and get that set up. So we're going to get started. We're going to start this Django project. So we're going to do a Django admin start project, and we're going to name this RSS API. Let's see. Oh, not valid name. Let's just do one word. Okay, RSS API. We have a folder now. Now let's cd into that folder, and let's start an app. So we're gonna do a Python 3 manage.py start app. And we're just name this API. Super easy, super simple. Now in our RSS API, we're going to open the settings in the URLs file. And in settings, we're going to add our API to our installed apps because that's the app that we just created. We're going to add it to the installed apps. We're going to leave all this alone for now, but we'll take care of that here in a second. Okay. We also don't really need a database, so we'll just leave it at the default SQLite database. It's not going to be used, so we're just going to ignore that. And then the other thing we want to do is we want to do we're going to create a new file, and we're going to name this requirements.txt, and we're going to we want to add Django REST framework. Now, when we do a Python 3-m pip install Django REST framework, we're going to take the version, and it installed looks like 1.11. So we're going to set that up in here. Django REST framework greater than or equal to 1.11. We're going to save that in our root folder here. Whoops. Let's go down to YouTube. This is going to be our requirements txt file. Now this will come in handy when we go to deploy the project. Okay. And the rest of that should be all right. So now in URLs, we're going to add another layer here, and we're going to direct pretty much all paths at API/v1.0. I like adding a v1.0 version control, so that way if at any point I decide, hey, I want to release a secondary version, but I don't want the old version to go bad for those people who might still be using it. And so this would allow you to create a second project like API 2 and add in a API 2.0 type version control in there. Now you could also just probably leave it at v1. We're going to go ahead and do that. Let's leave it at v1, and we're going to do an include. This is going to be api.urls. And we're going to import include here and save that. Okay. Now what this will do is any URL that matches this path will go to our api.urls file, which we obviously don't have yet. So we're going to copy the current URLs from RSS API, paste that into our API project, and then we're going to delete the initial, and we're going to delete this one as well, and we're going to just leave this blank. That's not going to actually work, just so you know. I'm just marking my spot so I know to come back to that. And we're just going to put in a blank path here. Okay. So we're going to save that, and we're going to open up our views file. And we're going to start by importing, actually probably a from REST framework. Oops. Import API view. Okay, my mistake. This should be dot views import API view, and then we're going to do one more. We're going to do from REST framework dot response import response. Okay. So now we're going to create our first API view class. We're going to do a class. This is just going to be RSS feed, and import our API view into here. We're going to do a def get. We're going to set this up as a actually we'll run this as a post first. So we're going to do I believe it's self request and then format equals none. We might have some errors here. We'll see. And then we're going to simply for now return a response. And this allows us to give a message and a status. We're going to do a status equals 200. It found it okay. And then let's just do a quick message. URL works. Okay, so now we have an initial RSS feed API view class in our views.py file. We're going to go to urls.py and we're going to import that here. So we're going to do a from.views import RSS feed, and then we're going to do RSS feed.as view. So any URL is just a blank URL that goes to this is going to go to this view. Now, if you don't have Postman installed, I highly recommend you go install Postman. It's a tremendous tool for testing out APIs and URLs. So we're going to start this server and just see what happens. We're going to do Python 3 manage.py and a run server. Now it's going to tell us we have a lot of migrations that need to be run. I'm not going to worry about those because, again, we're not utilizing the database. We just want the server. Okay, we have an error here. No module named REST framework. That's because there should be an underscore here that I forgot. And there we go. Okay, we're running okay. So now we're going to open up Postman. And we're going to run a HTTP localhost 8000. Now, if localhost doesn't work for you, you can try a 127.0.0.1 like you see here. Either one theoretically should work, though. But I know with Mac, sometimes it's really picky about which one you use. And we're going to go API v1 and just a simple blank URL, and we're going to change this to a post request, and we'll see what happens. Okay, came up with an error not found, and that is because we need that to be blank. Try this again. Okay, there we go. URL works. We have a status 200. Beautiful. So now what we want to do is we want to allow the user to bring in to send in data with the website URL, and so we're going to do a let's do website URL equals, and actually I'm going to do underscore request dot data, and this is going to be, we're going to tell the user to send it in under simply URL. Okay, and then we're going to return message URL works, and then URL tested is going to be the website URL that we receive. And this will help validate that we received the right URL and that it's processing properly. So we're going to save that. And in Postman, we're going to create a body element. We're going to add a raw JSON body. We're going to add in URL. Now, we're going to test in a website URL. We're going to do scandishhome.com. This is a WordPress site that I know will work for the feature that we're implementing. And so scandishhome.com. Okay. We're going to click send. And that works properly. So now we see that we received the URL. Now, obviously, we want it to be HTTP or HTTPS, not just a blank URL. So we're going to add in some validation. Now, regex is the best thing for validating URLs, and we're gonna import RE, I believe is the full name of it, but let's take a look here. So we're gonna open up a Chrome browser and we're gonna go website URL validation with regex regular expression, and then Python. Okay. Validators. Okay, that's an interesting one. I have not heard of the validators package, actually. Let's take a look here. So one thing when you're looking at packages is you want to go to the PyPy website, Python Py website, and you want to look at a few things. You want to look at when it was released, so a little over a year ago, so it's been around for a little bit. And you also want to go to the home page, which will take you to the GitHub page. And you want to look at when it was last updated. So we have one thing 10 hours ago. Okay, so this is being fairly well upkept and updated, which I appreciate. So for that reason, we're going to go ahead and use this package. So we're going to come over here. And we're going to do a Python 3 -m pip install validators. This is a pretty cool tool, I think. Okay, and then we're going to take the version 0.20.0, and we're going to go to our requirements.txt file, do validators equals, we'll do greater equals. It's greater than or equal to 0.20.0. Okay. And we're going to just follow the implementation, that they give us. So we're going to import validators. And instead of regular expression, and let's go to the documentation, and let's see, documentation. Okay. So their documentation is a little poor. Oh, there we go. Okay, URL. So let's see. Okay. So we're going to use validators.url. Okay. This is a little odd that they have it twice. So we'll see if it actually needs to be twice or if it's supposed to be once, because I believe this has it listed as once. So we're going to try it once. I think the documentation may be incorrect there. But we're going to do if not validators.url website URL. So basically, if this validation does not come out as valid, we're going to return a response with a message invalid, invalid URL format, and a status of just simply 400. We're going to save that. And now, technically, this URL should pass inspection. So if we restart our server and post this data in, okay, we are good. Now, if we change this, let's see if we can take out the HTTPS. And it's an invalid URL format. Now, what about an HTTP? That should work. Okay, perfect. So now we have validation, URL validation, if it's valid or not. The last thing we want to do is we want to try to grab the data from an RSS feed for a WordPress site, or any site really that ends. Now, WordPress RSS feeds typically come at the WordPress URL /feed. Okay, so it's going to look something like RSS URL equals website URL plus /feed. Oops. Now, one of the things we have to watch out for is it's possible that the user sends in a website URL without a / at the end. It's possible that they send it with a / at the end. So what we're going to do is if website URL -1, so the last character equals a /, Then we're going to set the RSS URL as equal to, or we're going to actually change this to suffix equals blank feed, and then else. And we may have to add some other validators in here, but I think so. I think for now this will be fine. And if it doesn't, then we're going to add a / feed, and then our RSS URL equals website URL plus our suffix. Okay. Save that, and we're going to return. We're gonna go ahead and just print out the RSS URL. Now, I don't want to share this RSS URL with users, but I do want to make sure that it's working. Oops, that's not the right program. My bad. Okay, Postman, send it in. Should get a print message here, and there it is. skinishhome.com/feed. Now let's try to add a / at the end of this, and we get the same response. So we know that that is working now. Okay, the last step, obviously, in this is to pull the actual RSS feed and return that to the user. So we're going to start with just simply setting up the variables for it. So we're going to do RSS feed equals just a blank JSON or a blank dictionary object, and we're going to return that to the user. RSS is going to be set to RSS feed. Okay, save that, and this should just return a really simple blank RSS. Okay, and then now what we need to do is we want to run a HTTP request. So this is going to actually load the website and pull that data from the website. So we're going to do a quick Google search. I know we will probably use the, I actually can't think of the name of it. There's a package out there. I think it's just, let's find out. Okay, Python, get website data for URL. We want to go back to Stack Overflow. URL lib. Okay, that's right. URL lib. So I'm going to import that. Oops. And we're going to run a, now, I don't know if URL lib.open is correct. Okay. Yeah, we're going to open it and then we're going to read it. And we'll see what happens here. Oops. So let's see. RSS feed equals URL lib.open, and then our RSS URL dot read. And let's just see. I'm also going to print the RSS feed data in case we need to parse through and change some things. So we're going to load this. Okay, there's an error. No attribute open. URL open, my bad. Send this. Okay, that's not right either. I do think they changed that. Ah, there it is. Okay. Request.open. Let's see. I knew they changed it. I think it was about a year ago. Maybe it's a few years now. Anyways. Okay, so it's loading that website, and now we get back this whole long page with the RSS data. You can see the XML here. So if we take this link and we actually look up the RSS feed page for it, we can see that we get XML and then channel image and then all the blog posts, right? And we've just created a URL or a API that pulls that and returns that to the user via an API. Now, at some point, what you could do with this is also then add a feature where users could send in something such as JSON set to true, where the API then returns the JSON object of that RSS instead of the XML version. In fact, let's just see if there's a really simple way to do that. XML to JSON in Python. And that's just, if it's super simple enough, then we might just go ahead and do that now. How should we convert blah, 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 XML to dict? Okay. Let's take a look here. It's been fairly recently maintained. Okay. Now let's look it up on PyPy. Released a little bit of, or about a year ago. Okay. JSON.dumps. So it looks like this will return the JSON data. I like that. Okay. So yeah, let's go ahead and use this. Let's do a Python 3 manage or -m pip install XML to dict. And shout out to the creator of this tool. And okay, we installed 0.13.0, so we're going to be sure to add that to our requirements.txt. And that was XML to dict greater than equal to boom. Okay. And then let's follow the documentation. So we want to use this right here. All right, I want to give this a shot. Import XML to dict. And then in here, if request, or actually we're going to set this up here. XML to JSON equals res.data. This is going to be JSON. If XML to JSON, I want to set RSS feed. Oh, actually, I have it right here. I'm going to set this up here. And then JSON feed right there. And then if we're parsing, then we're going to set JSON feed equals, and then RSS feed. So this is going to pull the value from RSS feed from our URL. This is what's returning the XML data, and then this is going to convert it to JSON, and then we're going to return JSON feed, and we're going to go ahead and print out the JSON feed as well. Save that, and let's give this a shot. Now, yeah, that should be okay. Okay, oh, we need to restart the server. Send. And res is not defined. What did I use res? Probably. Oh, request. That's why. Request.data. My bad. Send. Okay, it's loading. That's a good sign. It's pulling the data. Okay, let's take a look. That's the RSS feed. And the JSON data should be right here. Let's see. Where does it start? Right here. Okay, JSON RSS. Version XML. Cool. Channel stuff. Okay. Item. Okay, and there we go. We got all the blog posts here too. So that's pretty cool. Description, the content. Perfect. Okay. Now, since we have that, we're going to also add in an option to where RSS is true as well. So a user can choose to have either an RSS feed or a JSON object feed. Let's see. Or not RSS, sorry, XML. XML feed. So we're going to rename this XML feed or JSON feed. Request, XML request. We don't want to tie up variable names. And then this will be XML. So now what we'll do is we still have to load the RSS feed, but a user may not want to get all that data back. That is a lot of data that you're transferring. And so this is only going to be showing up here if, let's see, RSS feed, if, I think I can do an inline if statement here. So let's give this a shot. If request XML feed, else just an empty dictionary object, or dictionary. Save that. I want to set XML to false really quick and just try it. Okay, loading. And we have an error. It did not like that. XML to JSON not defined. Oh, yes. Request JSON feed right there. Try this again. Okay, and that worked to return the JSON object and not the XML. Now I also need to rename this to XML instead of RSS. And then now if we set JSON to false and XML to true, we should only get the XML feed here. XML and JSON is empty. So there we go. We've just created an API really fast in Django, which will take a website and preferably a WordPress website. I guess this would work with other websites if it produces an XML app /feed. But basically, this takes a website, pulls the RSS feed data from that website, returns it to a user, and can also convert it to JSON and return that to the user. So we have this working, and we're going to go ahead and launch it. So to do that, we're going to go to GitHub, and we're going to create a new repository in GitHub. We're going to name this RSS feed API. I'm going to go ahead and keep this public, so if you want to refer to this, you can. The link will be in the description as well. I would just ask that you don't copy it completely. Like, use it to learn. Don't use it to, cheat the system and copyright take things and plagiarize. Okay. A license. I don't actually know the entire. I'll just go MIT. That's a popular one. Create repository. Okay. So we're going to stop our server here. And we're going to do a git init. We're going to initialize the GitHub repository. Git add, git remote add origin. And we're going to copy this. Git commit -m. See if this works. I think there's one more step I'm missing, but we're going to give it a try. Git commit -m initial git push -u origin. Now this is using a main branch and authentication failed. Let's take a look here. Upload files. That's not what I want. Let's do the SSH. Git remove origin. Git remote remove origin. Git remote add origin. Let's try this URL, and then we'll try the push command again. Can't be established. Yes. Let's try this. Git push -u origin main -- force. Okay, cool. Refresh. And I got rid of our license file. That's okay. Let's see if it'll create it for us. Nope. Okay. I'm going to forget the license file. I don't care about it as much. README I'll do later. Okay. So it's hosted on GitHub right now. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to go to DigitalOcean. Now, I already have an account with them. And we're going to create a app. Now, these can get kind of expensive. I believe it's like $15 a month instead of $5. So if you're not actually making money from this app or this API where it's not really selling well, then you might move to a free tier or maybe start at a free or cheap tier through Heroku. But we're going to go ahead and select a repo from GitHub, and we're going to find the RSS feed API. And we're going to do an auto deploy. So every time I update the GitHub repo, it'll automatically update the application in DigitalOcean from the main branch. And we're going to go ahead and just go to edit. Okay, it's reading as Python. Okay, it's a web service. That's good. Okay, so that looks decent. Edit plan. I want to just have very basic. Okay, $10 a month. Oh, they do have a $5 a month. Okay, so DigitalOcean also has a $5 a month plan. We're gonna go ahead and use that because I don't really need something fancy. And we're gonna go to next. And we don't have any environment variables just yet. We will set those up here shortly, though. Next, I am over on the West Coast, so I'm gonna go San Francisco. And next, okay. So we're gonna go ahead and create the resource. And it's building and deploying. And we can go to the cons, or let's see, runtime logs, activity. There we go. And here shortly, we should have a live service. Okay, so deployment failed. We're gonna go to build logs and see what's up. It's probably a configuration with the server. You're using static files app without having set the static root. Is that all it is? So let's go ahead and go to our settings.py file. We'll come down here to static URL and we'll copy this to static root as well. Save that. And we'll do a git add. We'll add the update, git commit. Git push -u origin main. And when this pushes and updates, we should see this automatically update. There it is. It's already building again, so we'll wait for this to finish. Okay, so it failed again. Let's go to the build logs and see what's up this time. Okay, it failed again. So I pulled up actually instructions from DigitalOcean on how to deploy specifically Django. And there's a few things we need to add, which I actually forgot about from the last time I did this. So up at the very beginning, we are going to add Django to our requirements.py file. So we're going to add Django. Technically, we should add versions, but I'm not too worried about that right now. We're going to add, oops. There it is. G-unicorn. Now, we don't need this scicop G2 binary, because that's for Postgres SQL database. And we're not using a database. And then the DJ database URL, let's see what that does. I don't think we'll need it, but it might be database connection dictionary. Yeah, we don't need that one either. And so we're gonna just leave that Django and G-unicorn. And then there's one more thing we're gonna do. So we're gonna set a command. Just a second, I gotta find it again. Let's make this full screen. Deploying with app platform. Okay. There it is. Okay. We're going to use this command right here given to us. I will link this tutorial in the YouTube video as well, so that way you guys can have direct access to it. But we're going to go over to our settings and we're going to change the run command to use G-unicorn instead. And we're going to change this to RSS API because I believe that's what we named it, right? oops, RSS API, yep, dot WSGI. And it's going to pull this basically web worker. And so we're going to save that. Then we're going to go to here. We're going to get add. So we update our requirements.txt file. Git commit -m updated requirements.txt. Git push. Oops, push -u origin main. Okay, and this should kick off another update, another rebuild command, and we'll see what this does. Okay, and it appears that worked. Now it gave us this URL, and this is what I was talking about. It's a pretty ugly URL, but we're gonna go ahead and copy the link and go to Postman and just make sure that it's actually running properly. So we're gonna post that in there instead of our localhost URL, and we're gonna click send. And theoretically, okay, 400 bad requests. So something blocked it. Oh, I bet it's because of allowed hosts. Pause. Okay, so now we're going to set up our site to use environment variables, which I believe will fix this issue. So we're going to go to settings, and we're going to import OS. Now, certain things like the secret key, debug equals true, and allowed hosts should all be held in memory or on the server that it's running on, and instead of being hard-coded into a file. Now to do that, we're going to use an environment variable, and that'll allow us to set allowed hosts to the new domain and to set a secret key that is specific to the server. So we're going to do a os.getEnv, and we're going to get the secret key from environment, and then debug equals os. True if os.getEnv debug equals true, because this will pull from the environment variable as a string. So if the string equals true, then we're going to return a Boolean true, which is what Django wants. Else false. And then allowed hosts equals, we're going to do an os.getEnv allowed hosts dot split. We're going to split by a space. So we'll have a list of things such as localhost space 127.0.0.1 space our new domain, that sort of thing. So we're going to save this, and before we push this, we're going to add these variables to our settings file. So we're going to go app level environment variables, and we're going to add some values in here. So we're going to start off with the secret key. Now for secret key, I like to go to a hex 64 token generator online. That's encoding of token. That's not what I want. Random base 64 string. That's what I want. And 16 characters. That should be fine. Generate. Okay. So now we have a string. We're going to use that. Now, just so you know, because I know I'm going to hear this from you guys, I am going to change this for this specific website after this video is done. I'm just showing you and showcasing this, okay? So you're not going to be able to know what I'm using for that. Okay. Oops, I need to add a couple more. So we're going to do debug, and we're going to leave it at true for now. And then we're going to add allowed hosts to this domain right here. And then later, when we set it up to an actual domain that we're going to let it live on, then we will update allowed hosts to include that as well. And we're also going to paste this without the, actually it prefers this without the HTTPS. So we're going to leave it at that and without the end. It just wants the basic domain here. We're going to save that. And then again, we updated the settings file. And so we are going to do a git add again. Git commit -m updated settings to utilize environment variables. and git push -u origin main. All right. And then this should kick off another build process, and we'll see if we can then pull a URL. Okay, so our site is now live, and so we're going to try in Postman one more time. And it's taking some time, maybe, perhaps. Okay, and that did the trick. So we got our URL data as requested. We got XML and JSON is blank. And if we switch this around, we should get the JSON data and not the XML. And there we have it. Okay, so now I'm going to set up the domain for this. So we're going to go to settings and go to domains. We're going to add our domain, and this is going to be rss.poya.devhosting.com. And because they manage my domain, that's already there. Add domain. And it is updated. And now we need to go back to environment variables, and we need to add that domain to here with one white space in between. So we're going to do rss.poya.devhosting.com. Once I save this, it'll rebuild, redeploy it, most likely. Yep. And then we'll be able to test that new URL domain out. And if that works, then I'll show you exactly how we can list this for sale and start making money from this API. Okay, and it shows it went live. So we're going to test our new URL to verify that it is functioning properly. So I'm going to replace the DigitalOcean URL with our new URL. Send, and this should work just the same as the other one did, and it did. Okay, beautiful. What we're going to do is we're going to go to a website called RapidAPI.com. Now, I already have an account with them, but I actually have not sold an API through them just yet. This will be my first one. So we're going to set up a new API. Go to My APIs once you are logged in, and we're going to add an API project. This is going to be RSS feed. Let's go WordPress RSS feed. Get RSS feed data in XML or JSON from any WordPress blog website. Category, let's see. There's a lot of categories in here. Technically, I believe RSS feed stands under social. So I'm going to go ahead and set it as social. And under my personal team, that's fine. Import data. We don't have anything to really import, so we're going to add. Now, we're going to, let's see, import request from hub. Sure. I don't entirely know what that means. Okay. It's branches, main branch, sessions, environments, hub listing. Okay. I don't really care too much about a logo. The README documentation. Visibility. Okay, we're going to publish it. So our base URL is going to be our main URL here. Okay. And okay, we don't need a second URL. Let's see, documentation. Let's add it into this. So submit a post request to the provided base base URL with JSON schema data, including a URL object with the URL of the WordPress website you would like RSS data for. You include either Oh, there's one more update we're actually going to make, and I'm just thinking of it now. Include either RSS set to true or JSON to true. Actually, this should be XML. Depending on whether you would like the RSS feed in XML or JSON format. A sample data object for a post request should look or looks like this. And we're going to actually just go ahead and copy what we have here. Oops, wrong selection. But I'm going to get rid of this URL here. JSON, XML, okay. Cool. I'm going to save that. So let's see here. Analytics, settings, okay. Let's see if we can actually view this. Oh, endpoints, here we go. This is what I was looking for. Okay, so our base URL is going to be to here, API/v1, and then endpoint is going to be just a endpoint. Oh, create a REST endpoint. RSS feed data. Don't really need a description, I don't think. Don't have external documents. This should be a post request. Body JSON. Payload description should look like. Oh. So let's see. Yeah. Sample data. And okay, so we're just gonna do some formatting here to make it easier for a user to understand what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to submit the data. Okay, and let's see. This looks good. Post request, JSON, XML. I think that looks good. We're going to save that. Oh, we're missing some fields. Okay, the description is required. So we're going to come over here and we're going to copy our description here, or documentation here to, okay, actually we'll just put in a quick description. Get RSS feed data in JSON or XML format for any WordPress blog website. Save. Let's see if that does. Okay, we have an endpoint available now. And I wonder if there's a spot to test this. Okay. This is all going through RapidAPI. There should also be a spot. Oh yeah, monetize. Okay. Size limit for specific. I don't care about any of that. Community. Now, one thing that we could also do is add, and we'll probably have to do this, is we will add an authorization token to Django where only RapidAPI is allowed to request from our URL, and they will have a special header here to be able to do that. And I'm looking through credentials. So I'll have to look into that a little bit later. Basically, we're going to add, for now, I'm not going to worry about that. So technically, if you take the URL and you go and pull a request from that, you'll get the data for free. So now all of you on YouTube, you know that. That's cool. But that's okay with me. I might secure it later, but I'm not going to worry about that too much right now. We're going to go to monetize. Okay. We're going to edit these options. We're going to go monthly subscription. They can do up to 1 request per second. Or actually, let's change it to a minute, and they get 30 requests per minute. Let's see, subscription price. Let's set this at $5 a month. RapidAPI takes I think like 30 or 40%, so I'm not making a whole lot off of that. And that's per month. Okay. Actually, let's make this 10 requests per minute. Save. And I want to quota this to up to 200 requests per month. Soft request overages to 0.005 per extra. Well, let's do some math here really quick. $5 divided by 200 is 0.025. Okay, so we want to change this to 5 cents for every extra request. Let's add a pro. This is going to be also a monthly limit of 1,000 requests per month with a 0.05 overage. We're going to keep the overages the same on them. So at this price times 1,000 requests. So this should be around $25. Obviously, we want to discount it though. So we're going to save. We're going to edit this to a monthly subscription with a rate limit of, I believe I did 30 per minute on the last one. We'll do 50 per minute. Well, actually, we'll do 60 per minute, 1 per minute on here. Actually, we can triple that. Let's do 90 per minute. Recommended plan, and we'll do $18 per month. Pretty big discount on that plan. And we're gonna add an ultra plan, which is unlimited. We're gonna charge no rate limit. Actually, let's do like 1. Yeah, we're gonna do no rate limit, because if I'm making 1 user on ultra, I can pay and afford to upgrade my server to handle the unlimited requests. So I'm not worried about that. I want to set this to like $50 a month, because why the heck not? So we've got a $5, an $18, and then a $50 a month plan. And our $5 a month plan, you get 200 requests per month. Our pro plan, you get 1,000 requests per month. Our basic plan, you get 10 requests per minute, which is actually really slow. It's like 1 request every 6 seconds. But that's more for the general, like, I might use this a little bit here and there person. And it's cheap enough where it's like, oh, not a big deal. Our pro plan, we have a tremendously larger rate limit. Actually, I'm going to set this to $20 per month because of the significantly larger rate plan. That's 1.5 requests per second, which is pretty decent, actually. And our limit of 1,000 requests per month. And then, again, one of those, again, 1 sale, I can afford to upgrade the server. And then Ultra is like, hey, use it as much as you want. That's totally okay. So let's see, our private plans, we don't have any of those. Okay, general. And now let's find out if this is actually visible on RapidAPI's website. So we're going to search for our WordPress RSS feed. And we have it right here available. And it's loading. And let's just take a look at how things look. Okay. So let's take a look at this in an incognito tab. So that way it's just as any user would see it. Okay, request URL, RapidAPI, sign up for key, URL here, sample data. So let's change the, okay, we're going to change really quick our sample website over here, endpoints, edit, because I want users to be able to test this. So let's do URL equals what's my other site? I don't know if I have a site with an RSS. Let's see. Let's just leave this at scandishhome.com for now. I'm gonna change that later. Don't worry. Save. Okay. So now go to our incognito refresh. Oh, also that needs to be an HTTPS. HTTPS. And then we also need to include in the up here, include HTTP or HTTPS in your website in the URL in your JSON data. Save. Okay, and let's check that out again. Now, theoretically, if I run a test, like you'll see a test endpoint here, theoretically, I believe I can. Okay, we're gonna. Okay, let's go to our logged in site so that way we can test it, because I'm okay with how it looks now. Test. Okay. That's not okay. And our result is here. So JSON, we got our result with all of our XML content. And then we've got our other, we also need to remove the URL works. And, okay, so we're going to run a couple of updates really fast just to make this a little bit more spiffy. So we're going to remove our URL works to success. And then the other thing I was mentioning is we want to allow it so if a user does not input either of these, they will still be able to run this program with default settings. So we're going to do request.data XML, if XML in request.data, else true, else true boolean. And then same with the JSON. Basically, if they've included an XML argument in request.data, then we're going to utilize that. Otherwise, we are going to just default to giving them both. And we're going to save this, and we're going to re-upload this. Git add, git commit. Quick update. Let's do bulletproofing. It's not really bulletproofing, but whatever. Git push -u origin main. And we can test this in Postman because our Postman access still exists. Again, at some point, I'll add API access authorization to it. So that way only RapidAPI has access to it. But for this situation, this video is long enough already. I know that. And so we're going to just verify that this works and be done. And we now have an API for sale that people can pay to access and to utilize. The cool thing about RapidAPI too is it doesn't expose your URL. So the only people who know what the URL is for this specific tool is you guys watching on YouTube. Everybody else using this API doesn't know what URL is being pulled from because everything goes through RapidAPI instead. And so that's why I'm not too worried about people finding the URL, because to find that URL would be pretty difficult unless you watch YouTube, which if you're watching this video, you can probably do this yourself anyways, and you don't need to pay for a service like this. And so I'm not too bothered by that at all. This is more for like small businesses and people who want to automate tools. They have quick access to quick tools that are already built for them. And so that's one of the things that I really like about RapidAPI, and they're super popular as well. So we're just waiting for this app to update, and we'll get this ready. So we're going to remove the JSON and XML request elements. And give this a second. Let's find a RSS feed test URL. Validator.w3. There we go. So we're going to utilize this instead for our API in here. I'm going to save. Let's do a test endpoint. And results. Oh, server error. Oh, that's probably because it's updated. Whoops. We're going to go ahead and save it. And then let's go ahead and test it one more time. And let's come over here to the console or runtime logs, maybe see what's going on. Let's give it a shot in Postman really fast. This is a direct request to the server. Okay, and it worked. And it gave us the XML. And if we scroll down, it gave us the JSON data. Okay, so it is working. Let's test it in RapidAPI again here. For some reason, RapidAPI is giving them a... let's take a look at this server / feed. Oh, this isn't what I wanted. Oh, that's why it's a dumb website. Okay, it's not a valid website. So that's the other thing we need to do is if we need to do some error checking. So let's come here and we're going to do a try catch or actually accept. And we're going to do, if there's an exception, JSON feed equals, and we're going to just do a JSON object that's message, unable to parse XML. Save that. There we go. So / feed. Perfect. Okay, this is a great website to use. We'll just use that. Okay. Publish, and we will update the default URL. And save. So technically, this should work as is. Test endpoint. Still an error. Interesting. So let's set it up here. Okay, it worked here. So this is just being a little odd for a second. Okay. Oh, it didn't update. That's why. Refresh. It'll load the new URL default. There we go. And if we test the endpoint on RapidAPI, it now works. So the users can actually come on here and test the endpoint and see the results of it. And let's also change the default of this to XML to true. So that way users, when they test it, will be able to see both XML and JSON data. And then let's add some validation, URL validation. Let's finish this. Oh, wait. Okay, we got that. Also, one more thing is we're going to wrap our RSS feed into a catch or an accept, my bad. We're going to return, if this fails, the URL fails, we're going to return a response. Actually, I'm going to use this one. And we're going to just do error loading URL. Okay, so we have an invalid URL, error loading the URL. So if there's any, for some reason, any error reading the HTTP page, we can also actually change this to url.open, but we'll just leave it at that. And then if, and then this will end it right here. If this doesn't catch any errors, then it'll go on to, if there's a request JSON feed, then it'll try to convert to JSON and publish that. And then accept. The JSON feed is just going to be a message unable to parse, but the RSS feed will still be returned in XML format. Okay, git add, git commit, and git push -u origin main. And once this update is live, this is all ready to go. So I hope that's all. I hope that helps you guys. This is an exciting way. Find some creative APIs that you can develop and start selling them. Have a good day.